The phrase, "the five aggregates are all empty," is regarded as the essence of the Buddha's wisdom. In the vast ocean of Buddhist teachings, it shines like a bright lamp illuminating the hearts of countless practitioners. However, hidden deep within the Buddhist scriptures lies a marvelous secret known to very few. When you truly realize that without clouds there is only emptiness, one thing still remains. This mysterious entity is neither Buddha, nor mind, nor emptiness, yet it enables the awakened one to directly transcend the desire realm, form realm, and formless realm, no longer subject to samsara. In ancient legends, the Buddha once revealed the millennium-old secret during a special discourse. Why is this core teaching clearly and explicitly recorded in the scriptures? Why is it that only a very few saints are able to realize this level of enlightenment? What exactly is the one thing that can bring practitioners the supreme power of liberation? Let us follow the source of wisdom and unveil the long-hidden ultimate truth of practice. That was in the 7th rainy season after the Buddha's enlightenment. Shakyamuni Buddha spent his 3rd rainy retreat at the woodland park. In this serene and solemn sacred place, countless disciples who have accumulated merit in past lives gathered together, eagerly anticipating the Buddha's profound and exceptional teachings. On the last day of the Vassa retreat, the sky was clear as if freshly washed, and the first light of dawn gently appeared. Mahākāśyapa, Sariputra, Ananda, and other core disciples of the Buddha were already seated upright in the front row, their gazes clear and focused. As time passed, more and more monks and lay disciples quietly sat on lotus seats, patiently awaiting the arrival of the Buddha. Born at dawn, the Buddha walked slowly, clad in an orange robe, his face serene and solemn, radiating transcendent wisdom. After sitting serenely atop the elevated platform, he cast his gaze around, his eyes clear and gentle like still water, yet imbued with boundless profundity. The Buddha slowly spoke. "Bhikkhu, you have practiced until now. Do you understand what the 5 aggregates are?" Although this question seems simple, it directly points to the root of practice. Sariputra, the foremost disciple in wisdom, rose calmly, joined his palms respectfully, and replied, "World-honored one, form, feeling, perception, volition, and consciousness. Form refers to material phenomena, encompassing both our physical body and the external material world. Feeling refers to sensation, including painful feelings, pleasurable feelings, and neutral feelings. Thinking is the formation of cognition and concepts. It is our way of identifying and judging things. Volition is an act of will. It is the mental factor that propels our karmic actions. Fortune is a mental activity involving the discernment and discrimination of external phenomena. We cling to the 5 aggregates, mistakenly believing in a permanent and unchanging self. From this arises affliction, early karmic consequences, and the cycle of rebirth in the 6 realms, preventing liberation. Shariputra's explanation was clear and precise, prompting many disciples present to nod in agreement. The Buddha gently wiped his hand with a slight sweat and said, "Very well. So what is the essence of the 5 aggregates?" This time, it was Ananda who rose to answer. The disciple who had served the Buddha for many years and was foremost in listening said gently, "The Blessed One teaches us that the 5 aggregates are all empty. As stated in the Heart Sutra, perceiving that the 5 aggregates are all empty, one transcends all suffering and distress. The 5 aggregates lack permanence and an intrinsic nature. They arise due to dependent origination and cease when their causes and conditions are exhausted. Only through realizing the non-action of emptiness can one transcend suffering and obtain true liberation." The disciples present, upon hearing these words, pondered inwardly, "Is this not the core teaching we practice daily? Non-action is emptiness. Breaking the attachment to self is the necessary path to liberation." However, the Buddha seems to be giving an unusually profound teaching today. He smiled gently at the crowd, his eyes shining with the light of wisdom. What Ananda said is correct. Today, I will further reveal to everyone a profound truth. When you have fully realized the emptiness of the five aggregates, there still remains one thing that continues to exist. Once this is clearly understood, one can directly transcend the three realms, no longer bound by the cycle of birth and death. Upon these words being spoken, all the disciples present were struck with astonishment. As night fell, a murmur of whispered discussions quickly arose within the courtyard, many faces showing signs of doubt. It is well known that the Dharma emphasizes the emptiness of all phenomena. Yet today, the Buddha spoke of the existence of other entities, which seems contrary to the usual teachings. Some less experienced disciples even began to doubt whether they had heard the Buddha correctly. Mahākāśyapa, the foremost ascetic elder, furrowed his brows tightly, his eyes gleaming with the light of seeking knowledge. He slowly rose, knelt on his right knee, and respectfully inquired, "Bhagwan, we have always followed your teachings and understood the principle that the five aggregates are all empty. If the five aggregates are all empty, what then exists? Is this entity the state of nirvana? Is it the Dharma body we often refer to?" Mahākāśyapa's question strikes at the core, and all present hold their breath and focus, awaiting the Buddha's response. The Buddha picked up a blooming golden lotus from beside him, its petals still adorned with shimmering dewdrops that glistened faintly in the morning sunlight. He held a lotus flower in his hand, his voice solemn and profound. "This object is not nirvana. Nirvana is merely the fruit. This thing is not Buddha nature. Buddha nature is the seed. This phenomenon is not emptiness. Emptiness is merely a gateway. This object is right before your eyes, yet invisible. It is within your heart, yet difficult to comprehend. It is something you use every day, yet have never truly perceived. It is what you constantly rely on, yet you have never truly realized it." The Buddha's response was like a millennium-old riddle, profound and resounding. The disciples present fell into deep contemplation, unable to unravel its meaning. Some bow their heads in contemplation, others gaze up at the sky, and some close their eyes for introspection, yet none can truly grasp the ultimate reality to which the Buddha pointed. At this moment, an elderly monk named Subhuti slowly rose to his feet. Subhuti, advanced in age with hair turned white, yet his gaze was sharp as lightning, was a foremost master of the profound understanding of emptiness. With hands joined in reverence, he respectfully asked, "O Shakyamuni, we are dull and ignorant, unable to comprehend the profundity of your meaning." The Buddha compassionately expounded, "What exactly is this object? How can a practitioner realize this entity that transcends the five aggregates?" The Buddha handed the golden lotus flower in his hand to Subhuti and gently asked, "Subhuti, look at this lotus flower. What is its true nature?" Subhuti received the lotus flower with both hands and examined it carefully. The petals are as soft as velvet. The flower shape is golden and brilliant, with a faint and delicate fragrance. After a moment of contemplation, he replied, "The Blessed One teaches in accordance with the Dharma. This lotus has no intrinsic nature. It is formed through the conjunction of causes and conditions such as earth, water, fire, wind, and space. Its form, though beautiful, is ultimately impermanent. Its fragrance, though subtle, will eventually dissipate. In essence, it is emptiness." The Blessed One nodded and smiled, then asked, "If the true nature of the lotus is emptiness, from where do its color, fragrance, and form arise? How is it that you and I can see, smell, and touch it? Is this beautiful existence truly real or not?" Upon hearing this, Subhuti was struck as if by thunder, momentarily speechless and unable to respond. He lowered his head to gaze intently at the lotus flower in his hand, his heart stirring with countless thoughts, yet unable to find a fitting answer. The Buddha looked at Subhuti's puzzled expression and said kindly, "Subhuti, The answer to this very question is precisely what I refer to as one thing. At the meeting, the disciples listened and became even more confused and perplexed. In the fundamental teachings of Buddhism, the principle that the five aggregates are all empty is so clear. Why, then, does the Buddha today present this mysterious entity? The Buddha, seeing the confusion among the people, decided to unravel this mystery from a deeper level. Its sound is like the bell tolling deep in the mountains, clear and resonant. Long ago, while deeply meditating under the Bodhi tree, I realized a profound truth. Sentient beings remain trapped in the cycle of the six realms of samsara and cannot attain liberation because they are ensnared by the two kinds of wrong views. The so-called two views refer to the view of existence and the view of non-existence. The Buddha rose, walked slowly upon the elevated platform, and continued to explain. Attachment to existence and the belief that all things in the world are truly existent and unchanging is the view of ordinary beings. Clinging to emptiness and believing that all things are non-existent is a one-sided view of emptiness. Both types of views are wrong views and cannot lead to true liberation. Many practitioners initially cling to existence, but after practice, they turn to cling to emptiness. Moving from one extreme to another, they remain entangled in the cycle of samsara. Ananda has always been the Buddha's closest disciple, possessing an extraordinary memory for the Dharma. Yet today the Buddha's teaching seemed to touch upon a realm he had never contemplated before. He cannot help but rise and ask, "Blessed One, if both swords are evil swords, then what is the righteous sword? How can one avoid falling into the trap of the two extremes of existence and non-existence?" The Buddha paused, faced the assembly, formed a firm mudra with his hands, and spoke with a solemn and resolute voice. Right view is the middle way, transcending the two extremes of existence and non-existence, not falling into either pole. As stated in the Diamond Sutra, the Tathagata calls the world not the world. This is the clear world. The entity existing after the five aggregates are recognized as empty is neither existent nor non-existent, but rather the middle way reality that transcends the duality of opposites. It is neither a certain entity nor a void of nothingness, but the thus presented original nature as it truly is. After hearing this, the multitude of disciples seemed to have gained some insight, yet they were still unable to fully comprehend. This state beyond language remains difficult to grasp for practitioners who have not yet fully attained realization. Seeing this, the Buddha decided to use a more concrete example to illustrate. He walked back to his seat, sat down peacefully, and said to Ananda, "I will give another example. Ananda, have you ever seen a person's reflection in the water?" Ananda replied, "I have seen, world-honored one. Whenever I go to the Ganges Canal, I often see my own reflection in the water. Is the reflection in the water truly existent?" The Buddha was asked, "Is it not so?" The world-honored one replied, "No, that is merely an illusory image, not the true self. If the surface of the water ripples, the reflection will be distorted. If the water dries up, the reflection will disappear." Ananda answered truthfully, "Then is the reflection completely non-existent?" The Buddha asked again. Ananda pondered for a moment and replied earnestly, "No, it is respect. Although the reflection is unreal, we can indeed see it. It manifests entirely when all causes and conditions are perfectly complete. Therefore, it is neither truly existent nor completely non-existent." The Buddha nodded with satisfaction and said, "Indeed, that is so. Dharma practice is neither truly existent nor entirely non-existent. It is a conditional phenomenon arising from causes and conditions, manifesting in relation to sentient beings. The entity that remains after the five aggregates are all empty is precisely the essence of this path, transcending existence and non-existence, beyond attachment, yet truly real and not illusory. It is the true essence of all dharmas, the ultimate reality of the middle way that transcends dualistic oppositions. This refutation was like a bolt of lightning, illuminating the minds of many disciples who were confused. Especially Mahākāśyapa, a glimmer of insight flashed in his eyes, as if he had touched the edge of this profound teaching. He rose from his seat, stepped forward with reverence and focus, and asked, "Bhagavath, may I respectfully ask you to directly reveal what this thing truly is? How can a practitioner realize it?" The entire deer park fell into profound silence, as if even the wind had ceased to blow. All eyes were fixed upon the Buddha, awaiting him to unveil the ultimate truth. The Buddha's profound gaze swept across the faces of every disciple present, finally resting upon Mahākāśyapa. He gently plucked a blooming lotus flower, and the entire hall fell into silent stillness. His gaze is as profound as the ocean, reflecting wisdom that transcends time and space. This ultimate reality is ineffable. Attempting to express, it leads to extreme errors in speech and profound perplexity in thought. It is not a speech you can hear, not a concept you can conceive, nor an image you can describe. However, if one can thoroughly realize this matter, the three realms will instantly appear as illusions, and the six destinies as a dream. Though the Buddha's voice was gentle, it resonated like thunder, profoundly touching the hearts of all beings. The assembled bhikkhus and some long-practicing disciples showed expressions of shock, with some even shedding tears. This realm beyond language and words is precisely what they have pursued through years of practice, yet it remains an elusive goal always just out of reach. Mahākāśyapa fixed his gaze intently on the lotus flower in the Buddha's hand, and suddenly, the corners of his mouth subtly lifted into a smile. This moment became the true origin of the famous flower sermon case that later reverberated throughout the Buddhist community. The Buddha gently placed the lotus down and calmly said, "This object is called thus. It is neither existent nor non-existent, neither form nor emptiness, neither arising nor ceasing, neither defiled nor pure, neither increasing nor decreasing. It is the intrinsic state of all phenomena, the true aspect of ultimate reality." Upon the utterance of the word Mahākāśyapa suddenly attained enlightenment, his face blossoming with a sincere smile, and his eyes shimmering with a transcendent radiance. He finally understood the profound meaning of the lotus in the Buddha's hand, realizing the one reality that transcends the emptiness of the five aggregates. Upon seeing this, the Buddha smiled faintly and said, "The subtle Dharma seal of the body meditation I have just attained is now officially transmitted to Kāśyapa at this moment. Thus the Dharma lineage of Chan, Zen, is formally passed down." The entire deer park was immersed in profound silence, as the disciples were absorbed in that sacred and awe-inspiring moment. Some harbor doubts, some entertain impure thoughts, while others, like Mahākāśyapa, have already comprehended the Buddha's true form. The Buddha turned to the other disciples and further explained that thusness refers to seeing all dharmas as they truly are. Neither increase nor decrease, neither taking nor giving up, neither attachment nor separation. No thought itself is not the problem. The problem lies in our attachment and delusion regarding no thought. When you truly let go of attachment to non-thought, without generating discriminative thoughts or dualistic views, you will realize that non-thought itself is the authentic manifestation. Just like this lotus flower, when you no longer cling to its existence or non-existence, it is presented before you as it truly is, neither truly existent nor entirely non-existent, but truly existing as it is. Ananda, pondering deeply, asked, "World-honored one, how can one realize such a thusness realm? How should we practice to perceive this ultimate reality beyond existence and non-existence?" The Buddha cast his compassionate and resolute gaze upon Ananda and said, "Attend to your mind. When an afflictive thought arises, do not cling to it, nor reject it. Simply observe it as it is. When deluded thoughts of nothingness arise, do not cling to them, nor reject them. Simply observe them as they are. Over time, when distracting thoughts no longer disturb your mind, you will realize that the mind's original nature is just as it is. The Buddha continued to teach that sentient beings are unable to attain liberation because they are trapped by two kinds of attachments. The first kind is self-attachment, the clinging to the existence of a real, inherent self. The second is attachment to dharmas, clinging to the actual existence or non-existence of phenomena. Breaking the self-attachment can enable you to attain the fruit of an arahant, yet you remain within the three realms. Only by breaking the attachment to dharmas can one truly transcend the three realms and cease the cycle of rebirth. Shariputra, renowned for his wisdom, keenly grasped the key point in the Buddha's words and asked, "World-honored one, what is meant by attachment to dharma? How can we overcome attachment to dharma?" The Buddha looked at Shariputra and said earnestly, "Clinging to dharmas is the attachment to all phenomena. Attachment to existence is clinging to dharma. Clinging to emptiness is also attachment to dharma. Attachment is neither existence nor emptiness. It is still clinging to dharmas." Many practitioners have overcome self-attachment, but then fall into attachment to dharma, clinging to certain states or concepts. Therefore, they cannot attain true liberation. Only by abiding in thusness can one transcend all attachments. The Buddha stood up and walked slowly on the platform, his voice loud and resolute, not as some form of state, but as a direct approach to reality. When you truly realize thusness, you will find that the three realms do not actually exist. So where is there anything to transcend? The six paths are but illusions. Why then speak of reincarnation? This is what is called the present moment as it is, inherently complete by itself. Just as the waves in the vast ocean, the waves do not separate from the ocean, and the ocean does not separate from the waves. The five aggregates are inseparable from consciousness, and consciousness is inseparable from the five aggregates. Upon hearing this, Subhuti suddenly experienced a profound realization, his eyes gleaming with the light of wisdom. He said excitedly, "Bhagwan, I understand now that consciousness is not something outside the five aggregates, but the inherent state of the five aggregates. When we no longer view the five aggregates with discriminative mind, nor cling to their existence or non-existence, the five aggregates themselves are phenomena of consciousness. Just like the lotus flower, when we cease to differentiate between its existence and non-existence, it appears before us just as it is, neither truly existent nor completely empty." The Buddha smiled and nodded. "Well said, well said. Subhuti, you have grasped the essential meaning." Among the disciples present, some were entranced and intoxicated, some bowed their heads in contemplation, while others displayed expressions of confusion. The Buddha knew that such profound teachings could not be immediately understood by everyone, but the seed of this teaching had been sown during this discourse, and it would gradually sprout and grow in each person's heart as their practice deepened. The Buddha concluded by stating that all impermanence is emptiness. By breaking the attachment to self, one realizes such original nature, and by breaking attachment to dharmas, one attains liberation. By realizing impermanence and emptiness, you can liberate yourself from the cycle of birth and death. By awakening to such original nature, you can transcend the three realms. Do not discriminate, do not cling, abide in the present moment, and observe reality as it is. This is the ultimate Dharma method that I am imparting to you today. After this auspicious beginning and conclusion, Mahākāśyapa became the Buddha's direct disciple, entrusted with the responsibility of preserving and transmitting this entire Dharma teaching lineage. Later, this Dharma method became known as the core teaching of the Chan school, referred to as the seal of the mind. It is transmitted from mind to mind, does not rely on written words, directly points to the human mind, and reveals one's true nature to achieve Buddhahood. For thousands of years, This profound truth has illuminated the path of countless practitioners like a bright lamp. Those practitioners who can truly realize reality as it is have transcended dualistic thinking and directly perceive the essence of life, attaining genuine freedom and liberation. In bustling cities, we are often bewildered by materialism and desire, clinging to existence. On the path of cultivation, we are easily misled by emptiness, becoming attached to nothingness. Only by transcending dualistic oppositions and directly experiencing the suchness of the present moment can one truly be free from afflictions and transcend samsara. This is the ultimate wisdom taught by the Buddha at the deer park, and is also the profound essence behind the Zen koan of the smiling years. Today, as we revisit this concealed history, we may also glean a subtle insight. The truth of life lies before us, neither existence nor non-existence, but presented just as it is. When we let go of attachment and purify our minds, perhaps like Mahākāśyapa, we too can, in a single moment, intuitively grasp and realize the ultimate truth that transcends words. As the sixth patriarch Awaken said, Bodhi originally has no tree. The bright mirror also has no stand. Originally, there is not a single thing, where can dust alight. This state of originally having nothing perfectly embodies the essence of nirvana and serves as a guiding light leading us back to the fundamental source. Amidst the bustling secular world, may we all find that one beyond the cloudless, realize the original nature of the Buddha Shakyamuni, and attain true freedom and liberation.